Nice music, Todd. So we're back. Again, you're listening to the Whissel Weekend Real Estate Show. We've been doing this show for 4.5 years. Kyle Whissel, myself, Jason, all Team Home Loans. And filling in for Kyle is Keith Bryan, one of the agents at Whissel Realty, and one of his good friends, Dave. And Dave's with C2 Financial, and he's a mortgage broker. And one of the things that we knew kind of coming into the show, and one of the things that we're very open about, is we're men of faith, and we're not afraid to mention on the radio, even on Facebook Live right now. Mm-hmm. We just love the Lord, and for me speaking, that's He's provided me my business. I truly believe everything I have is because of Him. It's all His. I've been fortunate enough. I married my high school sweetheart. We're almost 30 years now married. We have two wonderful adult children that are now 26 and 28, and my 28-year-old's getting married in May.
Wow, congratulations.
But thanks, Dave. And it's all Him. And I know we each share different things and do ministries, and you guys met at a ministry. And so we kind of want to talk about that. Yes, we are in the real estate field, but since we believe it's all because of Him, we want to talk about Him, what we do. So go ahead, Keith.
Absolutely. Kind of just segue on our last conversation with regards to the real estate bubble and the uncertainties of the future. One of the things that's been absolutely instrumental in my life has been my faith. During the difficulties, going through divorce, losses, going through real estate, bubbles, careers, it has been my faith that has been the stable anchor in my life that's carried me through all of that. Unlike times before in my past where I would worry about, well, what's going to happen next? Well, what if this and what if that? To be able to have a relationship with God and know that all things in my life, from work to ministry to relationships to my marriage to my family, are all in His hands. One of the things that I like to say that I'm most known for in ministry with Dave and several others that I serve with is this. I'm a man of faith, and I walk by faith, and everything is 100% God, with the 100% assurance that God's going to take care of 100% of everything else in my life. And I equate it to this. Have you ever been to one of those circuses and you see one of those guys and they're spinning all those plates? That's how I used to live my life, spinning plates constantly. And I was just caught up in the hurry of trying to get to everything. And
so as one wobbles, you start trying to spin it.
Exactly.
Right, relying on yourself
so
and
much
trying
work.
to control everything.
And in our culture, we're multitasking. We're doing a half a dozen things at one time, and that's just very time-consuming and tiring. Years ago, God said, you know what, I want you to rest. And that was our conversation Dave and I were having today. I want you to rest in me, knowing that I'm going to take care of everything. And what a transformation in my life 5 years ago, coming to that restful place. And in these last 5 years, meeting Dave, serving in ministry together. And 4 years ago, I had an opportunity to go into the county jail up in Vista with my assistant pastor, Buzz Busby, to a program that had never been done before. We were invited to come in and teach a faith-based curriculum on leadership. He and I, not knowing anything about the curriculum, we showed up on day one. And we stood up in front of 70 guys, and we taught this curriculum. We popped in a video. We talked about the book. And every week it's like, I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to show up and see what happens. And every week, something special was happening.
God provided everything.
He provided everything. So we kept on doing that. And he brought some volunteers, and there was 3 of us, 4 of us. Now there's 7 of us that go in there. We've had publishers donate material to us, because now, just as of this year, we're now teaching to 120 inmates. Probably 100 of them are ex-military, and we're going in there with faith-based curriculum, teach them life skill classes. We're encouraging them. We're building them up. Here, I'll share something this week. As we go through these classes, not only are we delivering content to them, but we're getting ministered to in the process while we're reading the books, while we're watching the videos. God's speaking to our hearts like, hey, this applies to you. You need to do this, and you need to do that. And one of the things that got me this week, and I actually converted it into a challenge to challenge these inmates, as I was going through the material, I got prompted by the Holy Spirit to write a letter to a family member and letting them know how much I appreciate them, and to outline a dozen qualities about them, but what makes them special. They don't know it's coming yet. Well, if they hear this radio show, they're going to know it's coming, but they're probably not. And I'm going to write this letter to my niece. And while I was sharing this special thing that was going on in my life, I challenged these inmates to sit down and write a letter over the next 2 weeks to a son or daughter, a spouse, a family member in their life whom they've never poured any love or little love into their life. And if they will do that, when we come back in 2 weeks, the challenge is I'm going to stand in front of each one of these classrooms right next to their mail slot. And as they walk up with a letter in hand addressed to their son or their daughter saying, I love you, I appreciate you, I see goodness in you and greatness in your life. Hand me that letter. I'm going to watch them put it in the mail slot. And each one's going to get a reward, a prize, to be determined what the prize is yet. But we are doing these kind of things to have influence in their lives because we know it's just not, it doesn't end there with that one inmate. It now impacts his wife, his children, for generations to come.
Yeah,
so this is really
children, right.
a generational ministry impact that we're having up there in North County, and it just continues to grow. And right now, we're looking for some musicians. So if there's any musicians out there that play the guitar and sing, we're looking for a once-a-day commitment, once a month, to come up to the Vista County Jail and do some worship songs for us. So reach out to me, Dave.
What time do you guys do that, and when do you normally do it?
We do it every Monday
Okay.
from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right. So if you're listening out there, if you're on Facebook watching us, so 11 to 2 on Mondays, if that's something you want to do and you've got that gift and you want to share that with some inmates and bless them, and if God has a calling on you to do that, then please do that.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So Dave, you're a man of faith.
Yeah, yes, I am. My angle with it, part of my angle with it, I this year, God, by grace and by God's grace, I'll be sober for 30 years. So I kind of go into the jail. Thank you. Clean and sober. And so I kind of go into the jail with that bent on it. And a lot of the jails filled with substance abuse. It's just too much, domestic stuff, all the things that come from brokenness. One of the things I know from my faith that I'm a beautiful mess. And I understand in my world more about brokenness. And I kind of throw out in the jail, hey, don't blame me. It happened in the garden. It did happen in the garden, and I don't have anything to do with that. I mean, I have something to do with it because I'm a child of God. But so that is part of what I try to bring in there, that it's okay. And then you can throw in a lot of AA and other things, one day at a time, progress, not perfection. But I really think that the component of grace in this whole world that I've been involved in recovery is something that we're trying to unwrap. So it's a process. I think when we hear a lot of problems in jail, the first thing is, hey, you've got to be clean and sober. And then from there, the Holy Spirit can come in you and you can be the father, be the person, Honestly, if one of us had a loved one in jail, I don't have huge demands. If I was to hear anything that sounds semi-humble and came from a loving position, that would be appreciated. Of course, in reality, there's restraining orders and other things. The jail system is something else. I do tell them to make Jesus Christ their parole officer. Why not? He works 24/7.
He's always there.
Yeah.
He's always
there. He's
Absolutely.
on call.
Yeah.
Talking about the jails, I was just thinking one of the things that this last year we were really blessed with is a program that we've been teaching for the last couple of years called Authentic Manhood. It's a 36-week series. Every week has a chapter and a 30-minute video that we've been sharing, and it's put out by Authentic Manhood and Robert Allen 33 Ministries. And so our pastor reached out to him just recently at the end of last year, and they have discounted their product to us to afford us the ability to buy actual books, published or printed books to distribute within the county jail to the inmates. It's been a real blessing watching as a result of faithfulness and good stewardship. It has shown me, again, just another example in my life, that if we were to walk by faith, keep God's promises, keep his commandments, like he says, he will bless our lives. And he blesses us in such ways that we can't really sit back and write out at the year end, this is what I expect from the next year. It's those unexpected blessings that come out of left field, and you're like, I didn't expect that. And far exceeds all of your expectations. So I just want to thank
Absolutely.
everyone over at the 33 series, Authentic Manhood, for all of your contributions for what's going on out
It's
here
great material.
at North Coast Calvary Chapel. It's just been a continued blessing. Jason, he had shared with me just last year that his wife was ordained a minister.
Yeah, so she
that right?
actually
Tell us a little
got
bit about
all her
that, Jason.
training. She's licensed. She hasn't gone through the ordainment yet, but she is a Wesleyan pastor. But there's another step to go through to get fully ordained, and so she's on the process of doing that. But we just spent last week in Orlando for the pastoral conference that's held for the Wesleyan denomination. They call it the Gathering every 4 years, and we had 2,000 pastors and their spouses there in Orlando at one of the conference centers at the hotel, and we had a wonderful time. And one of our lead speakers, was John Maxwell. Most everybody recognizes
sure.
John
Awesome.
Maxwell now.
Absolutely.
He used to
One of
be
my
the
favorite.
pastor of Skyline,
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
he has now gone on to be a motivational speaker. He's a coach. He's done amazing things, and that was just an amazing trip. And we ended that with a little getaway to the Kennedy Space Center.
Very
If you've
cool.
never been there, it's an amazing place.
there.
It's about 45 minutes from Orlando. And if you're ever in that neck of the woods, you need to go to this Kennedy Space Center. But God's amazing, and he is literally taking my wife. Her walk was here, mine was here, and now hers is way above mine. And it's amazing.
You better get busy.
No, that's exactly what I've been
Sounds
talking
like
about.
that.
All those
Order with
pastors, that's what they're kind of telling me. So that's kind of ends up the show here for Whissel Weekend. We do a little podcast. You can always find us Whissel Weekends. You can go right to the Whissel Realty site, see our past shows, see this show, anything that's there, and please reach out to us on multiple ways. So again, we appreciate you listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week.